My testimony,
Which one?
the one that took place years ago in the summer of 1960.
The summer of 1960. Do you know? You want to set it up? Like how it starts off?
Yep.
How's this story begin, Mammaw?
Well, the story began with my neighbor, Ruth, was at my house. We were sitting at the kitchen table having coffee. And after a length of time, we sit there enjoying our conversation. I got to feeling real bad. And I told her I was getting very depressed and I didn't know what had happened to me. And
You can read. Later, Mammaw, I can cut out all the parts you want to cut out of there.
okay.
Or I can lower that I want to cut out of there. You're not Barbara Streisand. You don't get creative control. No, we can cut stuff like this right here. I'll cut this out.
I was not a Christian when this happened to me a long time ago in the summer of 1960. I was sitting at my table in my kitchen with a neighbor having coffee. All of a sudden, I felt like I was very depressed. I told her I feel like I was going to pieces. I felt very ill. My mind was going crazy. I couldn't think. I had no control of my thoughts. No one told me, but I believed an evil spirit had entered my body. I had a husband and 3 children. Is that all right?
What's that?
Am I doing all right?
Heck yeah.
And my daughter was 14, my middle son was 11, and my youngest son was 2 years old. My youngest son was home with me. My other 2 children were in school. When my daughter got in from school and saw that I was ill, she called my mom. My dad came and took me to his doctor. His doctor put me in the hospital to have tests. He ordered a test on my brain.
What?
They put dye in my spine. It showed no tumor. So I was sent home with no cure because they did not know what was wrong with me. I had no emotions. I could not sleep, did not eat, was not a help to my family at all. Let me say this. I kept a Bible in my hand at all times. As I told you, my mind was constantly going. And I was praying and talking to God because I know in my heart that God was the only one who could help me. I told you at the beginning I was not a Christian when this happened to me. I was not raised in a Christian home, but sometime my mother would go to church to a revival and I would go with her. So I knew enough about God to know He is real, a Savior and a healer. He loved us and wanted all to be saved. I made my promises to God. Heal me, Lord, and I will serve you all the days of my life. And I have kept my promise to the Lord. Let me tell you the good part of my testimony. I received a call from a friend. Her name was Sister Amos. A friend of my mom and my dad's. They asked if I would go downtown Houston with them and And also my mom and dad, they said Pastor John Osteen was holding a meeting and he would be praying for the sick. I said, yes, I would go. I don't know where I got the strength to get ready, but I felt like the Lord wanted me to go. We got to the meeting. It felt so wonderful. In that building, the Lord was there. The Spirit was moving. He asked anyone that needed healing to form a line. I got in line and I prayed the whole time that the Lord would heal me, and He did. When Pastor Osteen touched me, I fell to the floor, flat on my face. And as I was laying there, I thought, what am I going to do? I have to get up. And the Lord spoke to me and said, get up, you are healed. Praise God, I was. I have enjoyed serving the Lord. Oh, I don't have the last
On the back.
one.
You have enjoyed serving the Lord. How so?
Continually. I love the Lord with all of my heart. And everything I do, I want it to glorify Him.
Mm-hmm.
And I might mention that Pastor Osteen had asked Pastor Amos if I would come the next day and give my testimony. The next night at the meeting, of course, I was scared to death because I was very shy about talking to people, period, much less get in front of a building, a
Congregation.
But I did, and I gave my testimony as best I could, and I felt good about it, and I've never forgotten it. When I think about it, it's just like it happened yesterday. But it was several years ago. I'm 88 years old.
88.
And I still love the Lord with all of my heart.
You're a spring chicken.
I am blessed. I have a wonderful family.
For the most part. You remember that time when I was a kid and you came into the bathroom and I was in the bathroom looking in the mirror? Remember that? What do you remember about that?
You want me to start before that?
Yeah. If you want.
I'm not sure just when this took place, but this was after this testimony that I just gave, that my daughter was telling me about my grandson that at night was having an experience himself with the Lord, angels, and
What do you mean experience?
she wanted me to come.
What do you mean by experience?
Well, you would wake up and crying and talking about Jesus was in your room, and I just couldn't visualize it. She said, Mom, can you come? I said, I'll get your daddy to bring me. So I packed me a suitcase and I went out and planning to stay. And the grandson I'm talking about is Johnny, their son. And he had a wonderful experience with the Lord. The Lord would wake him up at night. He could see the Lord and saw angels. This particular time we were sitting in the den, and he got up. He was crying. We could hear him crying. And my daughter said, just wait. And Johnny came through there and went into the bathroom and didn't close the door. He was just standing there looking at this picture. And it was a Christian picture. It was an angel, and this angel in this picture was talking to Johnny. I couldn't hear it, but Johnny could. He was responding back to the picture.
Did you see anything in there whenever you looked in there?
I couldn't see nothing, and I sure wanted to. Oh, how I wanted to see what he was seeing. And, anyway, he had an experience with the Lord that I know he remembers it. And I do what few days that I stayed there that I got to see it. And you know when they say when you lay hands on people, most of the time your hands will get red, your ears sometimes will get red, and his got red.
His ears.
And he was calling the angel a he. And that was something else that was biblical. That the angels are he's, they're men, males. And he was in little old bitty guy, but he was calling him a he. He said he.
How long did you stay there?
I didn't stay too long because I was afraid I'd interfere with what you and the Lord were discussing. Because I couldn't see it, but the Lord was talking to you.
What do you think happened? What happened after the end of this Johnny kid? What happened next? Where'd the story end up?
Well, I don't know. I can't remember everything. But I do know this. I'm not sure what else he had, but the Lord healed him of that. And then Johnny said, "My feet, Lord." And the Lord healed him of his flat feet. We're serving a living God that cares. And I think wouldn't it be a wonderful thing if everybody could be saved? I know when I got saved, I wanted everybody to feel what I felt. It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Okay, we're on. So, what else you remember?
Oh, I don't remember much of anything else. I remember you prayed for Stephanie at that meeting. After you were healed, what did you ask for first? You went for 2 healings, your feet and something else.
My nose.
Oh, well, you prayed for your nose,
Mm-hmm.
and then you prayed for, said, "Okay, Lord, now my feet," and He healed your feet. Then you prayed for Stephanie, and she cried and she cried. She was in line, and you went down there and prayed for her.
Yeah. What about the years after that? Do you remember anything from age of like 9? That was Johnny was 8 years old. 9. Like the years after then, when he's still a kid. What happened in the next years?
I just can't remember everything. I wish I could. Candy tried to bring it to my mind where I had taken her to church to be prayed for her feet, and she was healed. But I can't remember that.
What's wrong with your feet?
She was pigeon-toed, real bad. Walked like that. Her feet, her toes was almost touching when she walked. I don't know how old she was.
That's probably why she likes popcorn so much.
But anyway, she was healed. David was healed with Jerry B. Walker.
So who's your favorite grandchild?
I don't know.
I'm not going to show anybody this tape now.
I don't know. How many do I have, grandchildren?
Exactly.
You know what, Johnny? I'll be true with you. After I had the first one, Candy, and then I knew somebody who had the next one. I couldn't think now how. My goodness, am I going to love that baby as much as I love Candy? I just don't see how you can.
Yeah.
And I was way back there, young, you know. Then I had the second one, whichever one, I guess that Sharon had the second one. I just loved it just as much, and same when you were born. Oh, that was something else, Johnny.
What's that?
Sharon, your mom and dad wanted a boy.
Yep.
And oh, I prayed. I said, Lord, I don't want to ever pray selfish. But they wanted a boy, and they said if they don't have a boy this time, they won't try anymore. And Lord, give them a little boy. And a few nights later, I dreamed that they had a boy.
Yeah.
And then, when I went, I was spending the night with them. Well, your Papa, A.D. Papa and I were there spending the night. And we had gone to not Six Flags, but that Houston
Astroworld.
Astroworld. And we was riding up the rides and just enjoying it. We got home and got in the bed, and I don't know what time it was. Your daddy come and woke me up. Do you want to go with us? We're going to the hospital. So I went. A.D. didn't go. I went, and he come out and said, it's a little boy, and everything was just exactly like my dream. I went over there and looked to be sure you were a boy.
Yeah.
The nurse said, man, Grandma wants to be sure it's a boy. And so that was the other time I had a dream was when this particular dream, when it was answered prayer, was when David was just a little fella riding a tricycle. And he had driven his tricycle in the back of this next door neighbor. Remember, my house was real close? I don't know if you remember that.
In Spring?
No, in Houston.
I never saw that house on Pine Tree.
That's right. We'd moved for that. So anyway, he parked it in the back of that car and got off and ran in the house. You know, little kid, he didn't know.
Yeah.
And boy, I heard her cursing out there, and they were girl likes girl. What do you call it?
Lesbians?
Lesbians.
Lesbians.
Whatever they were.
Lesbian people from Portugal.
Oh, well, that's what they were.
Yeah.
And so she was mean, and oh, I tell you, it just upset me so much. I prayed, oh God, get those people out of there. She could hurt my son, and oh Lord, when I pray hard, Johnny, I'd get flat on my face before God. And I just touched the hem of His garment, and I did that for I don't know how many days, and then all of a sudden I had that dream that those people were moving in that car she had, trunk on the top of the car, and the back seat full. And do you know the day they moved? It is exactly like I dreamed.
Yeah. How so? What details do you remember?
The car,
The way it
big
looked.
trunk on the top of the car. They didn't have much. Trunk on top of the car, and might have been a chair or something up
Yeah.
there too, but something in the trunk was full, and they moved out, and oh, I tell you, thank the Lord, thank the Lord.
You know that it was until 1964 that you were not allowed to legally have your own credit card or bank card? In America, do you remember that?
Mm-mm.
You couldn't have your own bank card. You had to use your husband's. A single woman cannot have her own credit card.
I didn't know anything.
1964. When did you start wearing stop? You remember what motivated you to stop wearing your makeup?
Yep.
Why is that such? What was makeup? What part in your life did makeup play? Whenever you used to wear it, was it important to you?
It didn't. I didn't. The lot of churches I'd go to, there would be women there with no makeup, but there would be women there with makeup. But I had made a remark. Well, I like that kind of church, Assembly of God. But I remember saying, well, I'm not going to quit wearing makeup. Now, that's not, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Just talking, you know. But when I started going to Pastor Amos's church, and that's when I got close to God. And I remember I'd fix my face to go to church, and then I'd get a Kleenex, and I'd start wiping it off. To me, when I was looking at it, it looked like I had too much rouge on. And I'd start wiping it off. And lipstick, I'd just keep wiping it off. I had too much lipstick on. And so I just kept doing that. And then one evening at home, Aunt Mabel called. I don't know if you remember her. Aunt Mabel called. She said, Norma, go to prayer. Your mother's out working in New York. Go to prayer. She said, Luther's got blocked kidneys, and he's going to die if God doesn't take over. So I just went right then to the couch and knelt down and started praying. And the Lord told me, I'm going to heal Luther. You start wearing makeup. And that's the God's truth. And I did.
What
That's
are
awesome.
you doing?
I guess.
I gotta hurry up and make the pudding. We got company coming.
Who's coming?
Mike and Joy, they're on their way.
He moved me around like this. I didn't do it.
I knew you did.
Come here real quick.
Johnny, I don't really
Mom,
have time.
I'll help you. I will help you. Just sit in that chair for 1 second. I'll get one picture.
Oh, look at my hair.
Hurry. Come on, sit down. 1 second. This takes us off in seconds. Hurry, 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 hurry. I'll push you back up again.
What do you do?
Sit right here.
Oh,
Get over here.
oh, Johnny.
Okay. So row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Hey, go make that bread pudding. Or banana. That was a video.
She's
Oh, I forgot my milk. Johnny, run over there and get my milk.
Mom, I said I was going to help you, not be your slave.
Oh, that kid gets asleep.
Don't I have enough milk here?
Well, let me turn this. 3, 2, 1. I got your milk. How much milk you want? The whole thing?
Yeah, there should be a partial one, and then there's a whole one. Bring the partial one. That's
Whole milk or partial milk?
the one that's got just some milk, not the one that's got full. The other one.
Oh, go here. Who's that sound like? Get out. Mama told me all about your first diaper experience.
First diapers experience.
Yep.